7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 1. Go.
Hello and welcome to Random Offense on Two-Way. I'm your host, Ethan Strauss. We are joined by Big Woz. That's Wosny Lambre of the Ringer fame. We've got a great show for you. We will be assisted by Trace Crutchfield in taking any questions from all of you. So let me begin with this historic, incredible NBA Finals Game 1. I'm looking at my notes here. The Pacers again stormed back. They were down 9 with 2:52 left. Thunder with a 96% chance to win. An incredible game, an incredible finish. And yet, because it's the NBA, we have to, of course, have a conversation about the league, its popularity. Do ratings matter? So, a lot of NBA world people were very boosterish about this finals. They went in, they were saying, hey, it doesn't matter if people watch. The ratings don't matter. It's a great series. Just sit back and enjoy it. That's not a crazy take, to be sure, but I have a bit of a nuance to it. I don't think it actually matters that much if a ton of people watch this finals, but at the same time, I think it matters if the NBA builds on it. And I'm not just talking about how they've signed a CBA, they've locked the money in. It's not about popularity. I care personally if the league is popular. I want people to watch. I'm an NBA fan. So here's what's interesting to me. The least watched NBA finals when it happened was 2007, LeBron's Cavs versus the Spurs. Was that a failure? I don't think it was a failure. It helped introduce people to LeBron James. He became this rising figure in the league, and then a lot of people were into that story. So that's my position on this. I think that this was a really entertaining game, and even if a lot of people don't know about the Thunder and don't know about the Pacers, it's great if we get introduced to them, but it has to be built on. And I don't think the league and I don't think ESPN are doing all the right things to build on this. A lot of people watching were crushing the production value. It was not near the high caliber that we see here on Two-Way. Usually there's this insignia on the floor showing us that it's the NBA Finals. Instead, in Adam Silver's NBA, you've got all these brands just splattered around the court like just sterile corporate graffiti. It's gross. The announcing team, let's just say it leaves a lot to be desired, to put it kindly. So we also have this other issue where the CBA means that I can't even count on these teams to be regular features. The Thunder, yes. The Pacers, I'm not sure about. So as much as I love the game, Tyrese Halliburton, incredible once again, all for the good. I've got my reservations. I've got my concerns, Big Waz, who we will bring on to discuss this. And I'm really wondering, is the league on the upward trajectory? Are the NBA boosters entirely correct that such a great game should completely dismiss anybody's concerns about the current product? And, we'll talk about this as well. Are some of the critics who say that politics has hurt the NBA brand, that's now a concern for the NBA and will always be and will linger on? So let's bring him on. Let's bring Big Waz on. One of my favorite people in the world. There he is. Oh my God. What a setup behind him. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Excellent monologue.
Yeah, I'm not quite Bill Maher on the end of the new rules, but I'm trying to get it going. I'm trying to get my reps in. So this is the broad question right here, Waz. Are these finals good for the NBA?
I think they can be. I don't think it's
No, I need a take from you, dude. No, I need more. Not this wishy-washy. Come on. Game 1, give me a take.
I think I choose to believe that it's going to be good. I choose to believe that it's good. I think Indiana, it's not just that Halliburton is a fun player to watch. I think he, unlike his peers, has a sense for the show. He's a huge WWE fan. He understands the entertainment element. Yeah, doing the choke job, like wearing the black hat or wearing the white hat. Like he just intuits all of this stuff in a way that, sorry, Jason Tatum, great player, does not intuit. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander does not intuit. Like Halliburton understands that there needs to be a little bit of toxicity. There needs to be a little venom in the game, in the story to draw people in. And that's why I'm happy that he's a part of it. Like people are going to talk about the small markets and all of that. Like, I'm sorry, LeBron became LeBron James in Cleveland. That's nobody's idea of some mega market. By the way, Miami's not a mega market either.
Mm.
Okay. I think you have to make your story into a compelling one. And having Halliburton, having this OKC team that everybody thinks is a nice, cute, cuddly little story. If they blow this, that's going to get blown out the window. There's going to be
Mm.
expectations. There's going to be weight to what they're doing going forward. And I think the question that you're asking, Ethan, is whether the league, its partners at ESPN, now NBC, Amazon, the ancillary partners at Adidas, at Converse and Shay's case, at Nike, can come together to tell a story about this next generation of stars to the public, to draw them in and care about whether Shea Gilgeous-Alexander fails or not. Because, I just want to bring people back to 2011, LeBron James in the NBA Finals against the Dallas Mavericks. There was so much vitriol, toxicity,
Insane.
like hate around LeBron and that Heat team and the outcome. But guess what? Like, I know a lot, and I feel like at the time I was like, "Oh, this is so stupid." Sports fans being negative. We thought we were kind of above that, some of us at the time. But looking back, we need that. It's an essential character to sports fandom and getting the public drawn in. And so I think, yeah, man, I think this is something the league can easily build on if they take it serious enough.
I think you said the proper word right there is story. People love a story. They understand everything through story. And it's not just about markets, it's about contrast. The most popular Western Conference Finals series, that was LA, a big market, but it was against Sacramento, Cowtown.
Cow Country, yep.
Cow Country. Was that what Shaq was saying back in the day?
No, it was Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson knows how
yeah.
Again, another person who understands that element, the show element, where it's like, yeah, we're not just going to diss them because they're our rivals. We're going to get them where it hurts.
Yeah, and it's all for the good. It's all for the show. I like the idea of vinegar. I like the idea of the Pacers as vinegar against the oil out there in Oklahoma that they're fracking out of the ground. Or don't quote me on it. I don't know how it actually works. I'm just thankful for the energy that we get to use. And back in the day with the Pacers, it wasn't big market. It was Hicks versus Knicks, as they called it, with the Pacers versus New York. So I think it's possible to have great stories, but you got to invest in those stories. You got to tell those stories. The league, there's always been in the Silver era a sterility to it of not understanding people.
It's not his strength.
He doesn't. He gets out a negotiated TV deal. He negotiated a great TV deal. He doesn't get this, and it seems like it's being brought though. It's being brought by Halliburton, who has a gift for it, as you're saying. And he's providing a contrast to the anodyne, perfect sterility of Oklahoma. And it's given us something right now, something better than I thought that we would have at least 95% of the way through that game one.
And I use Halliburton and I use Tatum and Halliburton as perfect contrast because Jason Tatum is a much better, not only is he a much better player than Tyrese Halliburton, he's been doing it for way longer. So theoretically, like Jason Tatum should have more cachet with the public if it's just based on meritocracy. This guy's already won a championship. He's been to another finals besides that. This year, probably the first year he hasn't been in the conference finals, I think in his career, damn near. Okay, like this guy has won and he's been an excellent individually. He does nothing to compel the public.
Yeah.
He would never in a game one, do the choke sign on the road to the Garden crowd. He would never draw attention to himself in that way that would invite negativity. That kind of instinct has been beaten out of today's NBA stars. They're just taught to keep your head down, don't make waves, don't make splashes, don't be interesting at all, because you don't want to have any form, even if it's just sports negativity, attached to your brand. Whereas Halliburton's like, no, my brand is that I'm interesting. My brand is that you should want to watch what I'm doing to hate me or love me.
No, he embraces it. And the homage to Reggie with the choke is just beautiful. I didn't think I was going to ask you this, Eventually, we got to move through our paces. We always get on our digressions. I can't help it. What do you make of not the way the league is marketing the NBA, but the unofficial, informal way that fans are having fun with it, where the quasi-ironic nicknames are given to Halliburton as the Haliban, and
I
they're
love it.
photoshopping him as
I love
Osama
it.
bin Laden, as this terrifying force.
I love it.
Obviously, we didn't have social media back in the early 2000s, but I mean, that's kind of crazy to me. I love it too, but I can't articulate what it is about it. It's wrong, but it's right.
First of all, there is an uncanny resemblance. The guy does
Bin Laden
kind
looks
of,
like more like Scottie Pippen, but
the guy
continue.
does kind of look like Bin Laden. I think NBA, but the thing that you're responding to, Ethan, is that it's organic. It's people saying like, rooting against Halliburton feels like you're rooting against the terrorists. Like these guys can detonate and get you at any point when you least expect it. Even when you think you have the Pacers beat, this dude, this unassuming dude, is ruining your life if you're a Cleveland Cavaliers fan, if you're a New York Knicks fan. And last night, if you're an Oklahoma City Thunder fan, like this guy just detonated your beautiful coronation of a game one, first time back in the finals since 2012. Like, it's organic. It's the people who are engaging with the game the most, expressing how a guy makes them feel while they're watching it. Sure, it might be off color. I'm a New York City guy. I get it. Never forget, hashtag, and all of that stuff. But, like, I like it because it's coming from the people who are most engaged with the game.
And it's not that serious. It's the theory of comedy of benign violation.
It's been 24 years. I think we can make a couple of 9/11 jokes. I think it'll be okay.
What do you make of the political component of this? And some of you watch him, you might not be dyed-in-the-wool NBA followers, but there's been this shadow of politics as I see the adorable cat of one Woz walking across the screen. Hello, kitty.
So rude.
Oh, so cute, though. This political conversation with the NBA seems especially in the room. Like, we're never talking about NBA ratings when we're talking about NBA ratings. We're talking about this cultural divide and debate because the league was very much activism forward in 2020 and even a little bit leading up to that. Then the ratings crashed. Then there was a whole lot of debate over it. My take is that the league backed away from politics.
They don't do it anymore.
But then there's this weird thing that's happened where the right or the conservative media outlets that I think were more honest in saying that this is having a negative impact on viewership back then, some of them got addicted to that narrative and now won't take yes for an answer. And I'm going to read a quote from Clay Travis, who is at Outkick the Coverage, which is more aligned with the right. And he was tweeting at Andrew Marchand, or Marchand, however you pronounce that French name, sports media journalist over at The Athletic. And Clay Travis said before this game one, the ratings will be shit because the NBA brand is shit. Your only job is to cover sports media, yet you haven't been willing to cover this rating story because you're a white dude for Harris, like many sports media, and chose to pretend the NBA lighting its brand on fire with left-wing politics didn't happen. I'll give my take and then I'll get your take on it. I think Clay was more correct than much of the legacy media that wanted to pretend that that didn't happen when it happened. But like I said, I think from 2022 onward, especially, the NBA stopped with formal involvement in politics. Now, did Greg Popovich, the coach then of the Spurs, and Steve Kerr, the coach of the Warriors, see, I'm doing my exposition right there for real NBA noobs right there. Wow. They say political things, but what should the league do? They can't, tackle them at the press conference and get them to stop doing that. I think the league smartly compartmentalized that kind of thing to the individual, and whatever it lost in terms of its reputation with certain fan segments is more the residue of the past than what is currently happening right now.
Yeah, there's a couple of things that are going on with the Clay Travis and the right and the NBA. Yes, they were doing too much during 2020 and before that. Basically during the latter parts of the Obama era, where if you're a liberal or progressive person in this country, there felt like a genuine thrust in the direction of the things that you espouse as a
moving
liberal
the
or
all
progressive
moving
person.
the All-Star game, the 2017 All-Star game because of the bathroom
Yes.
bill, for
Yes,
instance.
because of the, like that kind of stuff. And I think there was just a bit of hubris on the part of liberals and progressives during that era. And that's true. It actually happened. However, that era is over. But back in the days when LeBron was calling Trump a clown and et cetera, like that's done.
Yeah.
Nobody's doing that anymore. It's over. However, for better and for worse, the NBA will always be associated with blackness.
Mhm.
And so long as blackness or identity still has currency in the culture wars, it's still going to be fertile ground even after people have moved on because like Clay Travis knows what he's attacking. He's attacking a what is considered to be a black institution to the public. It just is. Like, and it always has been. It just like the NBA has always been associated with black America. And I think that's what's happening. Like, it's a black thing.
Yeah.
And everybody knows it. And you don't have to say it. Like, everybody knows what you're referring to when you're talking about the NBA and its culture. It's like one of the most prominent, even though, again, 30 owners, Adam Silver, the people who actually own the sport are not black. It's the perception is that the NBA is a black thing. And
Yeah.
that's why there's always going to be currency and doing stuff that Clay Travis likes to do.
And I think it's infused on both sides of it where there's
Yes.
maybe
The reflexive defense of the NBA is like, I feel like I got to defend this cool black thing. Yes, we know what's happening. Yeah, that's all it is.
We have Trace saying that we have a question when I'm ready. I have foolishly on my other monitor not turned off the notification when I get that. So I apologize if you people heard a ding. I'm apologizing. I don't know why I feel the need to, but I am. So when you want to bring that question out there, I want to take the question, whatever it is. I know I can't
We're gonna bring in the
anticipate it.
questioner right now. We have Craig.
Okay.
Hello,
Okay.
can you hear me?
I can hear.
All right. I have a Bill Simmons adjacent question because I was
Sure.
watching the rewatchables, and I forget if he was on there, but I remember there's a discussion of a scene from The Social Network about how it's a scene with Justin Timberlake and Dakota Johnson, and he has just implied to have slept with this girl at Stanford, and she says, I'm majoring in French. And all the people on The Ringer are like, why would you waste your Stanford degree on majoring in French? And I thought, well, why wouldn't she? She's probably, I think I came up with the take that it's probably good to date girls with fake majors because she's probably from a wealthy family and they don't care enough. And for her, she's not wasting anything because she's just slept with Sean Parker, who's a billionaire. So she's using her time at Stanford as a socializing aspect. And someone from Berkeley, being on the West Coast near Stanford, a lot of tech people, how would you view that take?
I love Craig. I love
That
this
is
guy.
an excellent take. It is an excellent. You know why that's an excellent take? Because of what me and Ethan do for a living. If you want to get, like, Ethan has worked at major publications like ESPN, I would say The Athletic, who now been acquired by New York Times. Like, I'm at The Ringer, whatever. I was at The Athletic too. If you want to work at The New Yorker, at Vanity Fair, at whatever, something fancy, one of those fancy places, you better be rich. Because if you're going to live in New York on 40 G's a year, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you got to be rich to actually major in French at Stanford. Like, it's just a chick that was just like, yo, I'm good on money. I could do like a fun little foofy major when I go to the south of France. When I start summering in the south of France eventually, I'm going to be able to converse with the locals. Like, that is an astute observation on your part, Craig.
I'm just surprised that they highlighted that as something that was unbelievable. I find that to be very
That was confusing
plausible.
to me. Like, why wouldn't it just seem kind of I went to Duke, so I went to a school with a lot of people like this. But I thought there was just a misunderstanding of why people go to these elite institutions. That there's so many people that do major in the liberal arts because they don't need to major in any. They don't need a major in computer engineering.
Yeah,
So
I don't.
you major in that at Stanford.
Yeah, not everybody at Stanford needs to be doing the Stanford thing, which is, having your own startup and going that particular route. And many well-heeled people I could see. I'm not saying Waz is somebody who comes from a land of French speakers that everybody who learns French is pretentious, but I could see a certain sort of person,
For
going
real.
that route at such a, I mean, man, Stanford is just a beautiful place. It is an absolute utopia, at least from the outside. And I can see,
as a Berkeley guy, this is one of Ethan's things. He always complains that Stanford is like a 10 times more beautiful place than Cal is.
Well, I don't have a complex about it. I didn't, unlike 90 some odd % of people who go to Cal, I didn't apply to Stanford and get the sting of rejection and feel the need to deny reality right there. So yeah, I don't know where we got on this whole thing. Social Network, great movie. We always got to remember that Aaron Sorkin was older when he wrote that particular part. So who knows what his mental model of Stanford is. I'm quite forgiving. The drama is wonderful. The scenes are incredible. I love the "It's Raining" scene between Eisenberg and the older lawyer. So recommend that. 10 out of 10 movie. Let us move on.
Thanks for calling, Craig.
Yeah, thank you so much, Craig. Let us move on to Zesty Cat, Gilbert Arenas versus Carl Anthony Towns. I'm, in my head wondering how to even do this exposition. Let me think about this one right here as we're waiting for the screen to get full again. Do we have me on screen? We do have me on screen. Okay. Gilbert Arenas, former superstar of the Washington Wizards, notorious, infamous, had the guns incident of 2009, but now he's a very successful podcaster. He made his observation, his words that Carl Anthony Towns, big man, scoring star for the Knicks, that Towns' limitations. The problem is, in the words of Arenas, that Towns, I can barely say it, is built like a whole bitch. Can we play that clip, Trace? I think we need to see that clip.
After all on Cat himself. It's him. It's his physical makeup. Long legs, short torso, big ass feet. There's nothing he can do. He's built like a whole fucking bitch. He's built like a female. Like
Clip that. No, clip that. Fuck that.
Am I saying something wrong? Look, he's built like a girl.
No.
He has girl hips. He's like a full WNBA player.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Yes, for those who do not know, this was quite the controversy in NBA world. Many people in NBA media and NBA Twitter were angry at Arenas, calling him a clown and all sorts of other epithets, saying this is why we don't need to hear from former players. The content is of a low quality. Now, Arenas, he did a subsequent video where he addressed it, and in typical Gil fashion, he did not apologize. He actually said the only people, who should be offended are men with short torsos and long legs, which I'm sorry to say applies to your humble interlocutor here. I am not nearly as tall as Carl Anthony Towns, but I am built like a spider, is what's so of myself. But fortunately, I was not offended. And while the way he phrased it was in such a way as to maximize impact and offense, I'm just going to say, I'm brave enough to say it, people. He's not entirely wrong here. He's not entirely wrong here. I mean, there's something, look, everything he said about Carl, I don't know if I'd subscribe to the granular breakdown of the physique, but Carl Anthony Towns has very wide hips. There's something about his structure that makes it hard for him to get in front of other people. And what Gil was saying he was doing was to try and, I don't know, have us blame him less. And there's this whole other conversation about how Carl Anthony Towns is discussed that we will get to in due time, but I've monologued enough. Waz, did you find this to be remarkably offensive and wrong?
I thought it was a step past the line. Like, I wasn't like offended, but I thought it was like, all right, he took it a step too far. But oftentimes when you're analyzing athletes, you are you have to critique their physique. Like you have to talk about their physical, actual limitations. Like, for instance, Domantas Sabonis, center for the Sacramento Kings, is a constant whipping boy of mine. I refer to him having T-Rex arms. He has short arms for
He's
a center.
built like a whole T-Rex.
He's a T-Rex. And I've mentioned that several times on our show. And so oftentimes you do have to talk about guys' physical limitations when analyzing their contribution. I just think being like the implicate, like I think he's doing double speak there. He's basically saying not only is he built like a woman, he's got like the mentality and the like. He's
little dog whistle.
He's doing a dog whistle. He is. He's basically saying like he's a bitch. He plays like a bitch. He looks like a bitch. He's basically, that's what he was doing, and I think that's what people are responding to. Like, it's a step over the line. You can critique Karl Anthony Towns' physique. We all know what he was doing there because we know what the subtext is. The chatter that happens around Karl Anthony Towns constantly, which I'm sure you're going to get to.
Well, I was about to explain. Let's make this subtext text. Karl Anthony Towns has a reputation that is unusual in the NBA. There's a nickname for him, Zesty Cat, because the idea is that he will move in a way and speak in a way that is, for lack of a better term, because it is Pride Month, we will say gay. That's what people say. That's how they frame it. And the weird thing about it is, yes, in the NBA context, it can be a put down, but when he's really rolling, then people really get into it and really like it and are just all about it. And it's like the Halaban. It's like Zesty Cat just killed you, and they'll show him kind of wiggling his shoulders, and that will be something. But in the NBA world, the way he talks, the way he moves, it does inform a little bit of this disrespect for him. And yes, you could interpret what Gil was saying as a dog whistle, but I find that whole subtext conversation where we have this term now, zesty, where we're basically calling somebody gay or saying that they're acting gay without saying it, so there's a plausible deniability.
They have an effeminate affect that most people, when it's applied to males, associate with gay people, right? Like, there's so many clips. It's not going to be hard for you guys to find them on the internet. Like, there's so many clips of people stringing together Karl Towns, like, talking, and the different voices that he uses and the different vocal, like, tones that he uses. Is something to it for sure. The guy has a girlfriend. I don't know any men who have personally slept with Karl Towns. Like, as far as I know, he's a straight man. You know what I mean? But there's this stuff online where people, are having for what seems like fun to me. Like, it doesn't, it doesn't feel like it's this like overly malicious thing, because I personally don't think being gay is bad. So like, if somebody's implying that a guy might be gay, I don't take it that harshly, to be honest. But it's out there. It is. And, it's in every group chat that I'm in with people that aren't in our profession, Ethan. When Karl Towns comes up, this is the conversation.
Yes. It is dominant in the conversation. What was funny to me was in the video he made to address it, Gilbert Arenas was acting offended because he was saying, I say this and I'm bad, but all of you are calling him zesty all the time, and that's okay. And it's in a way it is, because you're the kind of guy who you took the sort of subterranean thing, you took the subtext and you made it loudly text in a way. And then that kind of puts the joke, it gives it this edge, it gives it this viciousness that then people recoil from. Whereas everybody else was having the same conversation, but they were doing it with this, I don't know, sort of etiquette where it just doesn't become a thing in this way.
And again, if people aren't familiar with Gilbert Arenas, one, just know that his approach to content is one of shock jock. That's what he does. And this is not new. This is the guy who gets into a huge fight and argument with a teammate who says he's going to, kill him or harm him, brings multiple guns to the locker room and displays it and says, pick a gun and shoot me with one of them. That's this guy's sense of humor.
Yeah.
They get in trouble with the league, get suspended. His first game back, he's in the pregame huddle doing finger guns. This is this guy's sense of humor. This is who he is. He does have a mean-spiritedness to what he's doing, and he does know what to do for effect, for shock value. That's what's made that show successful. Like, people know Gilbert Arenas is going to say something crazy. So I think that is part of it, too. When people online like, that's why former players are not the smartest people, and it's like, guys, it's not that serious. Although I do feel like if Karl Towns sees this guy in public, he kind of has to put hands on him at this point.
Well, that's what they were saying to him, his co-hosts, in the video to address it, that it would have to be a physical altercation if they're in the same place at the same time. I think, the beauty of the internet right now is that there's a thing for everything. Every market gets filled, and I don't expect the Gilbert Arenas podcast to be like what you do over at The Ringer, or what Zach Lowe does, or what our guy Nate Duncan does. Breaking down
it's different.
It doesn't have to be that. And what this was casual conversation, and love it or hate it, a lot of the people who were fulminating about it and reacting with outrage and opprobrium, I guarantee a lot of them, if they were in a locker room and they heard a guy deliver that exact monologue, they'd be laughing. And that's the secret of that. That's the secret of that. That was honestly what you would get in a locker room.
To be outraged in public by, like, I'm sorry, bro. What is your life that this actually makes you want to hit the fainting couch?
I mean,
mind you, Karl Towns, guys, this is, and this is part of my whole shtick. I get it. Probably going to end up with $600 million in earnings, career earnings.
Not bad.
Karl Towns is fine. Like, we do not need to cry for Karl Towns because Gilbert Arenas said something slightly mean on his freaking podcast, or implied that Karl Towns likes men. Like, it's okay, dude. Like, he is completely okay. Have you seen this guy's girlfriend? Like, bruh, Karl Towns has an amazing life. He's an incredible basketball player. We can, like, calm the hell down on the internet with our freaking pitchforks for Gilbert Arenas.
Well, watch this segue right here, Woz. Speaking of people who cannot calm down on the internet, I need to get your thoughts on the big battle of the moment. The two cultural forces colliding into one another. We all expected it. Like the Pacers staging a comeback, and yet when it happens, we're shocked. Elon Musk versus Donald Trump. Not a sports topic, but we needed HR, no HR. I should have properly introduced it. It's funny. I promoted my own segue and then stepped on it. Trace, this is an HR matter. I'll explain why. It's not sports, but can we get the HR versus no HR clip art
just
up
played.
there?
I know it's a little invisible for you, but it did.
Oh, God, man, look at me.
It just doesn't have any sound for you, I think.
I'm such a pro, ladies and gentlemen. Such a pro I am. Well, yes.
You're
look at it.
You're building anticipation.
Yes, building the anticipation. The problem is you fall in love with your voice, you lose your sense of everything else out there. So, usually we look at HR versus no HR was in the realm of sports because it's a weird world. It's not like corporate, you get fired for the normal stuff. You can kind of write your own rules when you
Number one sign that you're talking to an idiot on the internet when he compares a sports thing that's happening. Well, at my job, that could never happen. It's like, dude. That's why we like sports. It's not like our real jobs, our corporate ass jobs where you talk to your idiot coworker at the water cooler about Game of Thrones. That's not what sports are. It's a different it's a different culture.
I mean, it would be great if two lawyers were going up against each other in some sort of mediation and one won and the other did the choke sign after. It would be cool. I would like that. I would be into that. But this is a funny thing. As an HR matter, as a general best practices in business matter, do you endorse supporting a presidential candidate, joining his administration, and then putting it out there that maybe he's a pedophile?
Oh my God.
Is that best practices?
It's one of those things where just because a guy is successful at business doesn't mean that they are all knowing and all seeing. And I think Elon, even when he was doing stupid stuff like buying Twitter, for instance, for $54 billion, was still coming out on top of things.
Yeah.
But the dumbest thing he ever did was so closely align himself with a political party. Because you're selling $80,000, $70,000 cars. Like, you're in the consumer market, consumer goods business. To align yourself with one freaking party so closely is just crazy, dude. Like, I was explaining to somebody, because it was such a big deal here at the time when I moved here, that the chick who's like the CEO of In-N-Out was like a Trump backer. And it's like, oh, she donated to the Trump camp. She's in California. It's a liberal bastion and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I know people were upset, but like, at the end of the day, she wasn't at all of his rallies, showing up to his cabinet meetings, tweeting about him every single. She wasn't aligning herself personally every single day to one party, one president. So people can, like, this shit could just dissipate.
Well, and also a burger is not
it's not a $70,000. Yes.
Well, and it's not a statement of identity in the way people want their car to say something about them if they spend a lot of money on it. They won't admit that. Nobody admits that, but they want it to say something about them.
Yes.
But it was one of these things where you could say, hey, he cares more than he does about his business, about whatever values. See, what I think is happening with him from the outside, if you were to come to me and said there was a battle between Trump and Musk years ago, who comes out on top, I would probably go, well, it's got to be Musk. He's just way more competent and better at getting things done than Donald Trump. Now I look at it and I just go, as brilliant as he's been in business, I do wonder if he always understands people all that well.
He doesn't understand people, Ethan. There's not a wonder. He's dumb at people. He's bad at people. That's not his strength. And if I'm being honest, I think that is the downfall of all of these tech people. They're antisocial as fuck, bro. They do not get people. Their whole thing is like, no, widgets. Everything. Life is about widgets. Life isn't about people. Life is about the widgets that we make.
I've got a reputation to uphold in the Bay Area, so I do not endorse what Woz is saying. I love all of you tech people and want you to invite me in on whatever seat round.
Ethan, I'm not saying people that work in tech. I'm talking about the rich-ass master of the universe type of dudes.
Well, okay.
They hate people.
Here's the flaw, though, because I think what's tricky is this. Twitter is the most valuable propaganda platform. There is a way to tilt the Overton window when you control it to whatever your side wants to be the norm. That happened when the people before Elon were running Twitter and Jack and all that, and we were more so talking about left-wing causes. And then after Elon took it over, I do think that made it easier for Trump to win. But there are limits to that. And I think what Elon is running into is you can't get everybody to care about everything you care about. I don't think that's possible. And Elon has a very idiosyncratic series of things he's passionate about. And if he focused on one or two of them, and he really made it all about his concerns about immigration, he could make that salient. And he could maybe fight a bill like that. But when I saw him saying, hey, call your congressman to stop Trump's big, beautiful bill, I was just going, I don't know the constituency for this. I don't know the constituency of people who really care about stopping immigration like is in the bill from a few different countries, but also just so care about spending too much and have opinions on EVs and how that should be regulated. And there's just no constituency of people who care about everything that Musk cares about. And when he turns on Trump, I feel as though he's almost looking at it like, I've got an army behind me. And then he looks back and there's really nobody there. The left hates him. The people who like him and Trump like Trump better than him.
Yes.
He's got this big propaganda platform. And I say that descriptively, I'm not trying to say it pejoratively. I just think it's wildly influential. Many people on the left are even in denial of how influential and it was helping them. And these are the limitations. You can't get everybody to be about your causes if you lack charisma.
You know what I think is interesting about this, especially with the current news? A a lot of people critique of the Tapper and Alex Thompson, is that dude's name?
Yeah. The journalist.
Is like, you people didn't have the backbone to backstab Joe Biden in the moment, right? And that's like a critique.
Yeah.
And now Musk is doing it to Donald Trump in the moment, and people are like, well, you was just sucking him off just now. So it's like, what do we want from people?
Yeah.
Like, which one do we want? I'm just interested in like that whole thing. I think Elon's issue is
Oh God, what's happening? What's gonna happen?
no, he's just not as smart as he thinks he is. Like, he's just overestimated like what people like about him and want from him. And the bottom line is, like, he wasn't converting people to anti-immigration issues. People were like, yes, we got a prominent guy agreeing with us, and so we think it's great. It wasn't a bunch of people who were like, you know what, man? Immigrants are the backbone of the country, but Elon said they're not. So now I'm like, no, that's never been the case. He's never been like winning hearts and minds that way. He's just been elevating stuff that's already out there. So like, this idea that he's gonna come out and oppose Trump, like, this dude got 80 million people to vote for him.
Yeah,
Barely 8 months ago. Like, it's insane.
We might not even be addressing the core of it, which is that Trump just doesn't need him like he needed him. So one of the reasons why, if I am proclaiming a winner in a fight where maybe nobody wins, it's that Trump got elected. Okay, maybe he eats it in the midterms because Elon is no longer helping him, but that's almost expected and you price it in. Elon needs Trump. And if I'm an investor in one of Elon's many companies, I'm going, dude, what are you doing? Now you're out of government and you're having the government's sites trained on you. I don't even.
Bro,
it just
Ethan,
seems.
this is the deportation regime. I'll deport your ass. I will ban your ass from America forever. Like, are you insane? Like, yes, you are very rich. You're not richer than the United States federal government, my good sir. Like, they will crush you, and you're high all the time, and nobody actually likes you. Like, this dude spent all that time up there. He made no friends with Trump world. He's got nobody. Rubio hates his ass. Bessent hates his ass. They all hate, like, everybody hates it. He made no friends. He's not actually, every time they put a microphone in front of this guy, he sounds and looks like an idiot. Like, it's so easy to just read, like, to see through him. Like, he's such a lightweight in this specific arena. I'm not saying if, let's just say Elon Musk came to Spotify, the company that I worked at, he'd know how to fire a bunch of people, make it run for cheaper. I'm sure he's amazing at that. I'm sure he's a genius at that. He would produce more profits for that company by firing a bunch of people, making it cheaper, making them run for cheap. Cool. You cannot get up in front of no cameras and convince a bunch of Americans that you are cool, charismatic, and should be followed. Absolutely not. You're a dork, sir.
I'm reminded of Giannis Antetokounmpo saying to a few of his teammates, hey, God doesn't give you everything. Didn't give me everything. And he's listing all the great qualities he had, but he can't shoot threes. Can't get everything. What is he saying? He's this smart, handsome, beautiful wife. God doesn't give you everything. It might not give you charisma. It has all these, you get all these other qualities, but we only have so much time, so I got to run through. I do think Elon changed the culture, though, when he bought Twitter.
He did.
And one of the segues right here would be the pride stuff. I feel like I've asserted this. I think Pride Month a few years ago has now become Pride Day. It's June 1st, which I think is a good compromise that nobody formally agreed to, but it's happening. Fewer pride displays by these sports teams. Are you seeing similar? Do you think that they should do stuff like that? What's your ruling? I know it's a big question.
It's not a big question, Ethan. Like, look, okay, like, why does the NHL, why do hockey players have to observe Pride Month? Is there a huge population of gay people in the league? No.
No.
Is there a huge population of gay people in the audience? Is there any?
They exist, but largely no.
No.
Yeah.
So like, what are we doing? Now, listen. I went to a Beyonce show like a month ago here in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
The demographics of the crowd, I promise you, about 5%. I would say less than 5% straight male in that audience. Okay. If Beyonce wants to personally, her brand, show love, respect, admiration to the gays, that makes sense. They're part of what she does.
Yeah.
As an entity, they are integral part of her whole thing. She should be recognizing them as much as she can. I saw with my own two eyes, like there is a connection between her and the queer community. That like that makes sense. Why the fuck is the PGA Tour? Like what? Like what are we doing? It's almost like that Kanye line where he was talking about brand partnerships and stuff, and he was like, I love Lady Gaga's music. Polaroid just made a creative director of their brand. What the fuck does she know about cameras? Like, it's like, what does the NHL or the NBA know about gay people?
It almost seems like they're trying to force a viewpoint that isn't reflected in the actual labor, and they wish it was, but it's not. And they're just hoping that they go out on this limb that nobody really takes a saw to. Where, yeah, it would be nice. It would be cool, I guess, if the people in this league were more accepting of gay people. I don't think that they're filled with hatred for them, but these are religious places. Athletes often are very religious. I think you almost have to be. I mean, can you imagine going over the middle and trying to catch a pass in an NFL game without having
they
some sort of
they love the Jesus in professional sports, bro.
You gotta have some sort of faith.
Jesus Christ.
There's something in conflict there, and it does have the feeling sometimes when they have the players wear these jerseys in baseball of when you dress your dog up with something that your dog didn't choose.
It's a dog and pony show.
I don't think it does anything for our culture, I guess.
We have to ask the question, okay, NBA players wear rainbow patches on their jerseys for a whole month. And then what?
It would be because the NBA finals is in June. They don't do it, but Pride Month's not during the NBA season. That would be an interesting conflict if they tried it in the NBA. And if you thought the content from Gilbert Arenas' podcast was potentially offensive now, I feel as though it could get to a level that would be even more eye-catching.
I want NBA players to be enlightened about gay people and their issues. I do. I would love to see a world where that happens, but that they're not. And what? Like, what is like, we need actual freaking goals, y'all. Like, if you're telling me, like, if we were living in such a situation where it's like, your landlord could kick you out because you're gay or trans or something, or your job could fire you, or people could deny you medical care, or, like shit, rights, like stuff. Like if we were pursuing stuff like that, and it's like, yo, we want to marshal the NBA to rally around that cause, I'd be like, shit, man, we might need to get some prominent people behind that cause. That's not what we're talking. We're talking about something that's just in the air.
Yeah.
We want to feel like NBA players love the gays.
The biggest problem facing gay Americans, I just looked at it in a poll, was a lack of validation from Alexander Ovechkin. That was the top concern for all of them. We should take some questions if we got them. We got people in the back. I might, for Pride Month, discuss the taboo, risque topic of player attractiveness, but I only want to get to it if we can, subsequently get some of these questions in here. Nancy Rommelman, Nancy, a friend I see is there, could potentially ask a question. Trace, can we call Nancy up to the floor? Because I am technologically inept. Is that possible?
We can call Nancy up to the floor.
Glorious. Lovely.
Unmute yourself, Nancy, because you need to unmute yourself, Nancy.
I am unmuted, and boy, is this the question for me, because I have just been waiting to say Miles Turner's name.
Oh my God.
Anybody.
Really?
Oh my God. I have such a thing for him. And
Women are mysterious. Okay, continue.
First of all, I just think he's gorgeous. And then last night he just started bringing it. And, he's been there a while. I'm not a huge, I don't know everything about the game. You know that, Ethan, but I know a little bit. And I just really enjoy his playing. And I'm going to admit something here, and I'm going to get in a lot of trouble. So I have a lot of family back in Oklahoma. It's really my only family now. I spent a lot of time there, especially like every year. My daughter works there. And I love Tulsa and I love Oklahoma, but I'm rooting for Indiana.
Wow.
Because
Trader.
Because a trader, that's what I am. And wow, I'm really enjoying listening to you, by the way.
Thank you.
Well, they were playing the Knicks, and I am a New Yorker, and I grew up loving the Knicks, and my dad loved the Knicks. And I just, I started watching the semifinals. So I got to really know the Indiana team. Now I feel sort of like, so when I was watching the game last night, I'm like, I know I should be rooting for OKC, but I just can't. I got to root for Indiana.
They're charismatic. Now, I say this because I find Turner to be a whiner. I feel like he disputes calls where he's clearly in the wrong. As a woman, does that make him a bad boy to you? Where he's flouting the rules. He just doesn't care.
He did do that a little bit last night too. But I think, you were talking earlier, like what makes these guys, we want personalities here. That's what we want, right? Like we don't want, and I completely agree with you, Woz. It's like, okay, so who made this decision about everyone's going to care about Pride Month? Did they go to all the players and say, okay, guys, what is it? Is it going to be cancer? Is it going to be Pride Month? Is it going to be vegetarianism? What is it that you really care about? No, it's something that's like pasted onto them. And that, I'm sure they could do it.
It's so empty. It's so void of meaning. It's just this symbolic crap that, elites have decided is what we get for activism in this freaking place. And it's an NBA team telling the public, like, or not even telling the public, just wearing something that I'm broadly for this. It's so strange.
And it's either boring or it creates resentment. It's like, why am I listening to this? Why do I have to do this? But you were saying, like, we want some personalities here. So if Turner gets a little bitchy, a little zesty, whatever, that's okay. That's okay.
I'm a fan of Miles Turner as well. I think he's got one of the coolest stories in the sense that he's been with the team for damn near 10 years now. And he's been in so many trade rumors for so long. Like he's been almost moved on from the Pacers more times than any player that I can recall that actually ended up staying on the team, and that he's endured long enough to make a finals run. And he was a big part of what they did in the fourth. It's a really cool story, honestly.
Yeah, I feel
Nancy.
Yep.
Nancy, Miles Turner is a massive Lego collector with these giant Lego designs. Does that make him more attractive or less attractive to you?
No, as the token woman here, I'm going to give away all the secrets. It's so hot for us, man. That's it. That's it.
Oh my God. That's
I
okay.
don't understand women attractive stuff. It just varies from person to person. That's what I think is so funny about a lot of the discussions that get had online, where it's like, a dude can't do X, Y, and Z. I'm like, really? If the chick is attracted to him, I think he can.
Well, this is going to be our this is going to be our closing topic, and maybe we keep Nancy on for at least the beginning of it. I wrote about this. I'm, again, unafraid, people. I will ask the questions and think about things out loud that others will not. There was somebody, I used this app, Chat BCC, where we have some of these conversations. We got in this conversation about athlete attractiveness and how much does it impact stardom? How much does it make somebody more of a superstar? You couldn't really see Michael Jordan being the cultural force he was if he wasn't a good-looking dude.
If you look like Patrick Ewing?
Yeah, if you look like Patrick Ewing, if you want to be mean about it. And Allen Iverson, could you really be that bad boy on the Sports Illustrated cover with your roses if you looked like, oh, I don't know, Sam Cassell?
Yeah, tough. It'd be tough.
Who only made one All-Star team, incidentally, and perhaps should have made more. So that's your evidence of lookism. But here's the confounder right here. Here's what's confusing to me. Jason Tatum seems like a very good-looking man.
He is.
And people don't like him or care about him, as you were saying earlier, and say he has no aura. So what gives? This is very confusing to me. I'm trying to figure it all out. For Pride.
I don't. It's not that he's not attractive. Like I mean, I've heard women say Jason Tatum is like, an extremely attractive guy. I just think he's just a blank slate. There's just nothing like Allen Iverson again, another guy that came with a story, got into that fight at the bowling alley. He would wear his do-rags to the press conference. He was the first person to bring his kid to the press conference. Like all of this crazy joy. Like he was a countercultural figure in a way that, and he's obviously just an attractive man. Like he was stacking stuff on top of each other. This like sordid past, this countercultural, like just basically vibe, and just a really good looking guy. He didn't just show up like being good looking to everybody. It was like, oh, let's throw roses at his feet. It's like he was stacking stuff on top of each other. And his game, he had a truly attractive, unique style of play. And so you got to have all of that. It can't just be one thing. But what I will say, Ethan, is like if somebody's bringing as much of this like story stuff, like let's just make it equal, and one guy's ugly and one guy's cute, the cute guy is gonna win.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
It's
I'll present this to Nancy. So this is one of my commenters. My commenters, they are bold. They think about things I have not thought about. The issue with Tatum is the difference between male preferences for male attractiveness, which confers status and generates envy from other men, and female preferences for male attractiveness, which generate hostility and accusations of femininity from other men. Tatum is attractive in a feminine-coded way, light skin, slightly feminine features, which contributes to the accusations of lack of aura. Aura is usually just male-coded attractiveness expressed in a non-homoerotic way. Nancy, that one is served up to you. So
way too many words in that question, but I'm just going to cut to the chase. Okay, what is it about? First of all, we can never discount beauty as a commodity. It is,
Okay.
If we're going to say it's not, we're not paying attention. Okay, number two, for guys, it's charisma. I mean, for anybody, it's that thing. You see Michael Jordan running down the court and he's doing something. Like, it's that spark. So it's charisma, it's confidence, and it's also the way they look at you a little bit. Kind of like, ooh, like you're going to do bad things and I like it. There just is something about, and just a sort of confidence on the court and personality. And this is what the guys that we're drawn to, of course we are. We're drawn to them when we're standing in the supermarket. We're drawn to on the basketball court. And they got to give it. And when you started out this conversation, like, what does the NBA need? Yes, it needs stories. It needs personalities. And that's what it needs to get us back to want to watch this game.
Like, you know what I think about in a different sport? I think about Barry Bonds, who like, I don't think is like some hot dude, but I was like, he's the fucking man. Like literally, I was just like, whenever Barry Bonds was on my TV, like I was glued to whatever it was he was doing, man.
And when he was interviewed, he sounded a little like Karl Anthony Towns, though, which is interesting.
Hey, now.
I mean, not that there's anything wrong with that, especially this month. Nancy, thank you so much.
Thanks. See you guys next time.
If anybody, I think people should raise their hand if they want to ask questions. I apologize for not getting to enough questions. I fault myself. I fall on my sword when I have people like Woz, like Nancy on. I get voluble. I start talking. It's just my inclination. And I think we only have about a couple minutes left until we all wrap it up. Now, here's an interesting comment on the looks thing, though, Woz, from one of the chats. You have to either look attractive or look interesting. Larry Bird looked interesting.
Yes.
Same with Jokic. Oh, they're bringing Nancy back for this.
Yes.
Same with Wemby. What you can't be is boring looking.
Yes.
One reason OKC hasn't caught on nationally, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is boring looking. Not bad looking or good looking, just nothing captivating. Chet Holmgren will probably become a bigger star than him in a few years because of this, I think. What a comment. Waz, what do you think?
Yeah, I guess Chet kind of looks like a Mennonite.
He looks like a Hey Arnold character in my mind. If anybody watched Nickelodeon in the 1990s.
I could see him churning butter in an Amish village. You know what I mean? Like that, like he has a distinct look to him for sure. And another thing about shit, like nobody knows what this guy's voice sounds like. Like like people
I do. Okay, this is an interesting topic right here. It has nothing to do with looks. I heard Gilgeous Alexander in an interview, and he's got that thick Toronto accent.
Yeah.
Which is a crazy accent to hear
Yes,
if you're American. Because
the
you're
Toronto black accent is different. It's like like Canadian,
Caribbean.
but like Caribbean. Yes. It's a mixture of A and like Wagwan.
Yeah. If you heard that guy and you just have no sort of, you don't know anything about Toronto. Most Americans know nothing about Toronto. And you heard him talking in an interview, you'd think he was from not maybe just another country, but from another continent versus people would think it's a race thing because I say Steve Nash, but Steve Nash sounds American.
No, he does.
British
Super
Columbia.
duper got rid of any signs of his Canadian accent, but Shay sounds like a dude that is straight from Toronto, like just a straight up, island background mixed with the, maple syrup kind of situation going on there. And I guess, Shay just doesn't look weird enough. I guess he dresses weird for sure. He's super into the, the flashy clothes. Like he'll wear a mink and all that kind of stuff to a press conference. But I just think he's just hyper professional. Like he's just super efficient in his game. Like there's not a lot of flash and dash to it. He is just hyper competent. And that's not necessarily what people love to see. And again, not talking, like nobody knows anything about you aside from the clothes. We know you like to play dress up every day. Aside from that,
nobody likes
nobody
that
really knows. Yeah, people aren't into that. That's like one of the top 3 things. Like when people find out what I do for a living, like an Uber driver, or I'm at a dinner party and somebody's like, "Oh, you cover the NBA?" It's like, what the fuck is up with the clothes? Like that's like in the 3 top things people bring up. How weird the guys like to dress now.
That's funny. Nobody ever did that to me when I was a beat reporter. They talked about other things. Nancy, are you aware of the
other thing? You know the other thing
Okay.
The fidelity of NBA players. Are NBA players monogamous?
Great.
That is
not
the
great.
number one. Like people are like, no, they will name a random wholesome NBA player. And they're like, such and such doesn't cheat on his wife, does he? And I'm like, guys.
It's a different world. It's a different world out there.
Different world.
It's not even, I don't even know if you can consider it a violation of fidelity based on the ground rules that they operate.
These guys are not dentists and accountants.
No.
They do not live in our universe when it comes to sex. But
to quote Jason Kidd's ex-wife after she found his second phone that was in his locker, sometimes fame takes men to heights where their character cannot catch up. And
that's it.
It's a great quote by her.
But yeah,
they got divorced.
That is that's a big our NBA players, especially women, the monogamy thing is just they can't countenance that. I'm like, guys,
they want to believe that the wholesome person, and that person might exist. I don't know everybody's business. I just know
he doesn't exist.
Yeah, probably yeah. I just don't want to burst anybody's bubble. I don't want to make anybody. The other weird thing is that people really want these guys to be friends, and that's how I would scandalize people back in the day. Is I would go, yeah, those players don't like each other, and they go, I think they like each other. It's just, I know them.
Yeah.
Okay. It's fine. They're coworkers. But we like each other, and it's so nice to see the both of you in this setting. It's nice of all of you who watch, who submit questions. I believe I should wrap it up. I believe I'm not supposed to go long. I think I'm trying to do a professional video podcast, unless I'm told otherwise. I will give you guys, both of you, chances to plug your work and what you're doing, and then we will get on out of here. Woz and then Nancy.
Oh, okay.
you're
I'll
going.
go.
You're going ladies
Yeah,
first. We're
ladies
so traditional.
first.
We're so
Chivalry
traditional
ain't
there.
dead. Ethan.
Okay.
Nancy Rolliman, you can follow me on Twitter, Nancy Rom with 2 M's. I have a podcast that Ethan has graced us with, maybe Woz will, and also called
Ooh,
Smoke
yeah.
When You Got 'Em. I write over on Substack, and I'm a journalist. Follow my work.
Bring me
you
on.
go.
Reach out to me
I'd love
anytime
to.
you need me.
Love to.
Yeah, we're covering the NBA Finals over at the Ringer NBA show group chat with my guy Justin Verrier and also Rob Mahoney. So yeah, just check us out. All of our NBA sports pop culture coverage over at the Ringer.
I can endorse both fully. Thank you so much. Thanks to everybody out there. Have a beautiful weekend. Enjoy the NBA Finals. Happy Pride. Whatever else. It's all great. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen.